You know, earliest memories of skateboarding would have to be just getting a skateboard for Christmas, you know, and whether I was 4 years old or 5, it didn't matter. I knew that there was something special about it. You know, that would be probably my earliest memory, but when it became something that I desired was when...
The minute I stood on the board, that was it. Game over. 8 years old, till now. That was all that was really important in my life.
My brothers were good, you know, football players, soccer players and rugby players and cricket players, and it was expected that I was going to be the same as them, and I always felt uncomfortable as a team sport. And when I got hold of skateboard, I'm just like, this is me. No one's gonna be upset if I do something wrong. This is just about me, you know, so.
I think it's Jay Adams on the cover of the Skateboarder magazine photo annual. The cover was a camera, and then in the lens was the image of Jay doing an invert. That was it. This is what I wanted to do because I'd never seen anything like it.
I just remember like looking through that magazine until there was nothing left of it, you know, because the paper was so shitty at the time. It was all over my fingers, and then I was hooked. You know, I've been doing it ever since.
You always see BMXing, skateboarding, surfing, skiing. You see all this stuff as a kid, but then it takes something to like really latch onto it, you know. And I think once I saw like a skate video, I was like, whoa, okay, this is like what it's all about.
It was much bigger in Vancouver. Vancouver was kind of like the California of Canada, at least at that time it was. It was like huge, and I just started skateboarding.
My bicycle got stolen and I started riding a skateboard. So once I started riding that skateboard, just the feel and the sound of the wheels going over the sidewall cracks was everything I could imagine skateboarding would be.
And there's only one sound that it is. It's wheels on the ground, so it's just this roar you hear, you know? But I really remember that very clearly.
It was fascinating to me seeing the board flip and how you can control it like that. I didn't understand how on a skateboard with a board and continue to land it and keep rolling. So I just would just sit there and watch, and I tried it. It was just the funnest thing ever. It just was the one thing that I never grew out of.
I realized that it was so creative, and I was just turned into like this little trick monster. I just wanted to like learn tricks and learn, and you know, 360s or ollie broomsticks or whatever. You know, it was just like, you know, go out there and have a good time.
I could actually feel the momentum of it when I'd go down and around the corners on the sidewalk, and even on my knees at first, you know, going around the corners and getting as much speed as I could and making the turn.
I mean, at first, obviously, you just gotta start somewhere. So I'm sure I did like all these kind of like swimming and all the coffins and everything else, but eventually I did start standing up. And I just go do circles and stuff around my neighborhood. That memory will always stick with me.
And that sort of set off this journey, a very quick journey for me, where I immediately started learning and understanding the feeling of what it feels like to keep pushing your own boundaries in an instant, to where I went to my first contest and saw Neil Blender and pro skaters and thought like, this is what I want to do forever. And then Neil Blender getting in a car with like 7 or 8 people and me saying there's not enough room for you, and that board in that car, and him throwing me that board. As I caught that board from him, from this pro skateboarder, from that point on, it was like, I only want to be a professional skateboarder for the rest of my life, and set off on that journey in the most hardcore way.
As young as I can think back to, I had a skateboard. I think I was around 2 when I started pushing around on a skateboard on my knee. And I remember the first time that experience when I like was able to ride those wheels on like a rough road, and it was smooth, and like I was able to carve on the board. It's like right away I just felt like this connection with my board that, you know, it was like an instant marriage.
Yeah.